in the House today at second reading.
I call the Honourable Member Sua William Sio. Malo Soifua.
Malo Soifua, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on the Tasman District Council Validation and Recovery of Certain Rates Bill. I note, sir, that following this bill, there is a range of private members' bill, including bills that have been put up by my colleagues, and I'd like for the House to be able to spend time on those particular bills, ushering those through. So my comments on this particular bill aren't going to be very long. I note also in the committee's reports, sir, that I'm a member of that committee. I regret, however, that as a new member, I have not had the opportunity to sit through all of the discussion around this particular bill. I do note that the committee received 14 submissions from interested groups and individuals, and they heard 4. Like the previous speakers, I too am somewhat reluctant. I sort of are dragging my feet on this bill, and I know my colleague Marion Street aired it quite well when we were debating the Kaipara District Council situation there. But as much as I am a strong supporter of local government, as much as I value the role that local governments play in community development and nation building, and as much as I strive and aspire to ensure that going forward there is the close working relationship with central government and local government, I have to say, sir, that when these rates validating bill are placed before the House, it just makes it harder for those who do not believe in local government to come on board and support the vision, the kinds of vision that Labour Party has for local government. I note, however, that the Tasman District Council, in presenting this bill and asking Parliament to consider it, this is what they had to say: that the Tasman District Council did fail to set its rates correctly across the district due to incorrect administrative procedures from 2003 to 2009. They failed to include a map in the 2006 and 2007 long-term council community plan to adequately describe the area covered by the Liga Bay and Tata Beach stormwater urban drainage. The Council admits their procedural mistakes and are now seeking to rectify the situation through this bill. Council is very sorry and apologises to our community for our mistakes. We are very embarrassed for the mistakes, and rightly so. We also apologise for needing to take up Parliament's and this Select Committee's valuable time in order to correct our errors. So I don't doubt the sincerity of those words. However, what my colleague Damien O'Connor emphasised in the latter parts of his speech earlier was a call for councillors to treat seriously the roles that they play as elected representatives. Sure, we can call these procedural mistakes, but the fact of the matter, sir, if we want the public to take an active and participatory role in our local decision-making, then we need to treat our stewardship in local council with a great deal of care and responsibility, because for by and large, most residents, sir, if they're not able to be given the opportunity to see the intimate goings-on of council, as far as the public are concerned, they can rightly make all sorts of allegations when these mistakes are made. And so I think it is important that I recognise, sir, that when you look at 2011, the local body elections, we seem to be heading into a new era, a crossroads in our local government system, On the one hand, you have the school of thought promoted by others of wanting to take control of local government. On the other hand, there's another school of thought of the strong desire of the public wanting to participate more and demanding their right to have a say in those local government decisions. And I saw in Auckland, sir, how, for example, the Pacific communities put up many representatives to run in the races on those local boards. And I can say for Auckland, for the Labour Party at least, out of the 14 candidates, out of the 18 candidates that ran, 14 of them were elected either on the council or on the local board. And out of those 14, 8 of them were brand new candidates. And I think, sir, that in many ways reflects the strong desire that is held by many sectors in our communities of wanting to participate more in local decision-making decisions. I note that the committee, when deliberating on this particular bill, had an issue on Clause 9. I think there was a call, perhaps, an advancement by some that Clause 9 ought not to stay as it is. And I understand that the advice received from the officials is that by removing that particular clause, they are actually dealing outside of the scope of this particular bill. It gives me no pleasure to support my colleague on this. I think as I emphasise again, the councillors, the mayors, from this House at least, must look to how we can avoid these kinds of bad decision-making. And I think the roles that Local Government New Zealand, the Society of Local Government Managers have a role to play in providing training, absolute training. I think I was a member of the council, sir, and I think it's quite easy for new councillors to come on board, whatever the local authorities are, and begin to feel that as new councillors, that they rely on the officials, that they rely on the senior councillors. And that might be okay for some. But I think when you put yourself up to run for these positions, you've got to be prepared to hit the ground running. And I think not only do councillors have the responsibility that they are well prepared for these roles, but also our officials on local council. They have a role to play to ensure that their advice is to the highest standard. And so, sir, those are my comments here.
I call the Honourable Member Jackie Dean.
Thank you very much, Mr.